Hello everyone, welcome back to Bullpen Sessions. Right now we're going to talk about some self-corrections you can do on the mound, coaches, parents, kids, things you can think about or pay attention to in the kids' motions versus what's happening at the plate. And then we're also going to talk about how to throw to certain hitters. Sometimes there's, guys like to stand right up on top of the plates, others like to stand way back. So, I think the first couple of things I can think of when I'm thinking about, I've been coaching throughout the years too. When a pitcher's throwing high and outside, a lot of times that means that their front shoulder's opening up too quick. Coach, can you think of some other things? Let's just talk about what that looks like.
Okay, so we kind of go through it, just scenarios. If you can see where the ball's released from the pitcher, kind of give you a good idea of what they're doing. Like Chris was talking about, for a right-handed batter, if he's throwing the ball high and inside, it typically could give one or two things. One might be that he's actually rushing his body before he breaks his hands, so his arm ends up being here, leaving it back, so the ball's tailing in to a right-hander or a little bit high. Typically, when we're throwing as a right-hander, we're throwing away, maybe spiking the ball, which means throwing the ball in the dirt. We have a really tendency from right here is when we come up, we actually close our body off from the throwing point, so we have to come across our body. As we come across our body, our path is going this way instead of right to the target, so we end up throwing low and outside when it comes down to that. Most of the time, balance is the most important thing. If you can keep your balance, keep your control, breaking your hands, you'll have a really good chance of throwing strikes.
Right, and I think from a left-handed perspective, if we're talking about, got a left-hander is throwing high and outside a lot, that can happen a lot of times when they open up their front side too much and come across. And I think that's a good way. You can take a line and go from the heel of your foot down the mound. And that's kind of where you want to stand on, right? So when you land, you want to be landing somewhere close to that line. And if you're throwing high and outside as a left-hander, probably opening up your front side too much, maybe opening up your front shoulder too much. And like Coach said, you could be dragging your arm too far behind you. So that's just some of the things you can look at in terms of like self-corrections, quick fixes. But again, it's never quick fix. It's something you have to keep repeating over and over again to kind of keep that balance and keep your front side closed as well. So we're going to move on to types of hitters to throw to and how to kind of approach those guys that maybe stand on top of the plate too much, stand away from the plate too much, the big guys who hit the ball really hard, the little guys that seem to dink the ball everywhere. Some little tips about that.
Sounds good. So basically, yeah, we got a right-handed hitter standing just giving us a regular stance for us, Dylan. For that guy right there is usually comfortable with his swing. He can cover the outside pitch as well as the inside pitch. What we're trying to do is keep somebody like this off balance. This would be a great time to mix in more change-ups and things like that. But if we're going to do anything at all when it comes down to trying to beat him, you want to live more outside than inside, because most right-handed hitters from the ages 9 through 12 tend to try to pull everything. So it's his stance is right here, and I'm trying to throw more pitches off the end of the plate. He's going to have a tendency to have to bring his hands all the way out and then try to meet the ball right here, which is going to roll over. Back up just a little bit, Dylan. You get some of the boys that may be a little bit farther away from a little bit more than that, Dylan. Right there, now we see that a lot where now the hitter looks for the inside pitch. That's where he wants to see the ball come in. He's a little bit farther away from the plate. Again, now he's taken half the plate away, so the more times we can live on the outside corner, the better off we're going to be to get somebody like that out, change-ups and fastballs. Then if he gets right on top of the plate, those are the guys that like to walk a lot. They're just contact hitters. These are guys that are just trying to get on base, where they're going to try to get hit by a ball, or if they're just going to try to hit a ground ball somewhere. These guys are the ones that we have to learn how to pitch inside. All right, this is where he's in there. We try to get everything middle in. He won't have enough time to get his hands extended, so we end up hitting a lot of balls right off the handle of the bat. Or if he does come through on that pitch, he tends to come around his body, and then he hits it off the end of the bat. Typically right here, this is a guy that we stay away from throwing change-ups, because he's the guy that really just wants to get on base. We're trying to challenge him more middle in, making him hit a ground ball to our third baseman or shortstop. So we're here with Rhett. I'm going to teach you a couple different things. You get a little bit older, we have guys like this who are really speedy, fast guys. All right, what we're trying to do is we're trying to throw that ball a little bit more at eye level here, especially with 2 strikes. He sees that ball better, but it's going to be really hard for him to get up on top of the ball, so he'll have a tendency to pop the ball straight up. If he does try to get around the ball, he's going to roll over the ball this way. The other one is where we're trying to throw a ball really low and making him go down after the ball. It's really hard for younger guys to be able to handle that pitch and drive it anywhere. Rhett, thank you very much.